My name is David Ruff. I operate in the beautiful city of Toronto, Canada, and we operate in real estate and help people build wealth. And so we do this every single day. This is part of our larger company, my wife and I, awesome, cool wife. Um, we run 4 different companies, and we run these 4 different companies to help people build wealth in whatever they do. So we try to come on whenever we can just to answer questions. We're live today on YouTube and on TikTok, and we're going to try to do it more often so we can try to figure out what we can do to help you and what questions you're having. In today's market right now, the real estate market is absolutely crashing in Canada, the United States, Europe, and a lot more pain is going to be coming. I mean, a lot more pain. And so we expect prices to be dropping in the urban centers by another 30%. So that's not going to be good, right? But remember, when you're in stocks, you have to get out of the high risk stocks. That was like something like a Netflix stock or something like that, that was going up a lot and dropping. So you're selling the high risk stuff and you're getting in defensive plays. Now, real estate is the exact same thing. It's not any different. You have to make sure that you are going to be buying a property that is defensive, that's going to be making you money either way, right? Even in a down market, in an up market, that you're going to be able to make money from this either way. Remember, if you have any questions on YouTube or TikTok, you can put the comments below. I'm going to try to get to them, okay? So this is where you have to not be looking at A-class areas in the country, but A-class areas in a B-class city. Okay, well, how do I explain that? So if you're in Canada, a lot of our viewers are in Canada or the States. So if we're in the States or Canada, same thing. The States wouldn't be buying a property in New York or LA. It's not about buying a property in Toronto or Vancouver. You're going to be wanting to buy a property in a smaller city than that because you're going to be playing defense now. It's one of the two. So this is where you're going to be making sure that you are going to be not getting in trouble. You basically want to play that defense. So what does that mean? What about a city like in Alberta, where you have a lot of people protecting you, in that the government itself does not want any trouble. The government is very landlord friendly, business friendly. If the business and landlord friendly, remember, the irony to me always is, what happens if you have a mortgage and then you don't pay your mortgage payment? The bank comes and forecloses on your home immediately. What happens if you don't pay your car payment? The bank comes and forecloses on your car immediately. What happens if a tenant doesn't pay his rent? Well, now he gets to live there for 1 year for free. On what planet does that make sense? If I don't pay my mortgage, the bank is not going to let me live there for free for a year. They're going to come after me. So this is where you have to make sure that you're living in a place where you can make sure that you're going to get paid. Does that make any sense? To me, the irony is just absolutely crazy that would happen. Anyway, so you got to make sure that you're protecting yourself. That's the main thing that we're always saying. Protect yourself by buying A-class properties in B-class cities. That way you're not going to lose. Our properties that we have that are not in Ontario have not lost any money. Yet in Toronto, where we serve, the area we serve, up in King City, properties are down 50%. In Brampton, they're down 40%. In Mississauga, they're down 35%. So those are all different parts of Toronto. But if you look anywhere in North America or Europe, the major centers are where it's going to lose the most. Now, it's not a blanket statement like everywhere is the same. Every place is the same, because in Toronto, commercial real estate is going down and the high-end residential is going down. So in King City, the average home was 3.2 million and now it's 1.6. It's lost 50%. 50%. But the one-bedroom condos that are right downtown, it's not going down in price at all. Remember, everybody's willing to downgrade their property. They're willing to go from a detached home to a semi-detached or down to a condo, but nobody ever wants to move cities. They don't want to leave their family and friends and so forth. So that's what they're trying to get against, right? That's what they're going against always. So if you guys have any questions, either on YouTube or on TikTok, you guys can ask away and I'll see what I can do to help you out. Anyway, we did a live yesterday. It was really fun, actually. We had 2,500 likes. When we first started up, we had a couple thousand people come by. And so we're all just asking questions, and how are we going to collectively get through this mess that the government has created? Unfortunately, the government printed a lot of money. And by printing a lot of money, we are heading down this path toward getting just steamrolled by the government, by inflation. Remember, the government is only going to do what the people want. So when the pandemic happened, everybody wanted free money. They needed checks, right? So we got checks, but the bill is due now. And so the government is going to suck all that money out of the system. And the majority of it happens in housing. So that's going to create some issues moving forward, right? So we're always here to create wealth, and this will create opportunities where you'll be able to buy properties pennies on the dollar. I'm talking you'll be able to spend 40, 50 cents on the dollar to be able to buy properties. And that's what you want to be looking for. So you should be doing your homework now and knowing exactly where you intend to buy. My wife and I, we know exactly where we're going to buy. We have our eyes on those properties all the time. And we were noticing prices dropping. As they keep dropping more, we will be more and more interested. I still expect the best buys are going to be happening next year. So I don't expect them to be great buys this year, if that makes any sense. Those rates have gone up a lot, and those rates are going to continue up. We expect at least one more big hammer of a rate, like 1% or 1.25% coming. And so we expect that to happen. Do you guys have any questions for me about any corporate structures, how we set up our companies, how we separate taxes? Remember, I'm not a tax accountant, so I can't help you with that. I'm not a financial advisor, but we are a brokerage, and we operate several businesses all around Canada, and maybe I can give you a hand. If it's something to do with real estate, that's where we specialize in. We buy properties in other places, not just here, but we specifically have a brokerage in Toronto, Canada. And so if you have anything about, and you live in a major city, if you were thinking about selling, today is probably a great time to sell because the market should fall quite a bit more. If you're thinking about buying, I would not buy. I would wait for another year. At the inside, maybe 6 months. That's what I think you should do. Do you guys have any comments at all? Questions about what you are doing to prepare for the market? So, you know what I say, in the meantime, things that are really, really, really cheap now, if you listen to the great Roger, oh man, now I forget his name, Mr. Rogers. I forget his first name. He is the commodity god. He said, if you were to pick one thing and leave it for 10 years and don't touch it, he would suggest that you go buy silver. And silver is still 60% down from its all-time high, 30% down on the year. So this is something that you should be thinking about buying always. Got a question coming in from TikTok. Why real estate crashing if demand is still high and cash is available? Okay, well, I think that could be a subjective comment in that the cash is available. Is it available? Because all of the mortgage lenders that we work with right now, cash is not available. Nobody can get mortgage approval. It could take you 3-4 months just to get an approval today. Whereas before we used to be able to get it in 3 days. So cash is not as available as you would think. And demand is not as high. So when we were selling our properties in January, February, and so forth, we were getting 40 offers on a property, 40 when we put it up for sale. Today, we have houses up all around the GTA, and we have properties that have 0 offers, 0. They've been on the market for 2-3 weeks, 6 weeks, all different dates, and they have 0 offers. We can't even get anyone to go do a showing. They don't even want to look at it. So demand from what we're seeing is not high at all, and cash is not available. It really depends where we specialize, though, is we do a lot of work with people in BC and Alberta, and we do the prairies and Ontario and Quebec. So there's certain regions that we don't work in a lot. So I don't work in the a lot in like Manitoba or Saskatchewan or something like that. And we don't work in the States, but every contact that we have is coming across with the same information. So I'm curious, where are you right now that cash is available and demand is still high. I don't see that in Canada or the States. But thank you very much for commenting either way. And if you have some questions, I'd like for you to put them below. If you like this stuff, can you please like me and give me a follow on YouTube? We got to get to 1,000 views on YouTube. That's what our goal is right now. When we do get to 1,000 views, we're going to be giving away our Bobcat helium miner. I had a box here somewhere before, but we're giving away our Bobcat helium miner. If that's something that you want, we always are trying to figure out other ways to generate some income. And so we're going to always be doing that by stacking other things on top of other things and compounding that income. All right. Well, so what we do is we always try to do what other people teach us. Nothing that we ever learn is something that we came up with on our complete own. So we read a lot of books. We read about Robert Kiyosaki, Tom Wheelwright, and they have this whole series that kind of blew my mind: Buy, Borrow, Die. And if you look at that structure and go read up on that buy, borrow, die, it's that you should never ever spend $1 of earned income on yourself, on anything that you need to live. You need to put 100% of earned income into investments that actually pay some kind of cash flow. So you put 100% in, and then you live off of the money that you borrow off of that property. Right now, there's a spread between real inflation. So there's real inflation is 17%, stated inflation is at 9%, and the interest rate is at 6%. So if we look at the spread of how much you are getting paid, how much money you are making, you're going to be taking it from the real inflation at 17, subtract the 6% that is below, that is the interest rate. That's 11% difference. That means you are getting paid 11% to borrow any money. And you're going to see that appear usually in the inflation of prices. But we are going to get 11% money. So that is how the rich make a lot of money, is they get paid to borrow. So make sure that you're getting paid in a lot of different ways. So we not only get paid to borrow, which is what the government wants us to do, we also have these 3 wonderful things in real estate called appreciation, depreciation, and amortization. And so once you can put those 3 tax benefits in as well, you can now get into a system where you pay no taxes if you're doing it all within a company. And so taxes are a choice. You don't have to pay taxes if you don't want to, if you set it up correctly. Read in Canada or the United States any tax code, and the tax code is going to go through all of the things that can help you pay no taxes. And I want you to be able to build enough wealth for yourself that you don't have to pay taxes anymore. That's the main goal. So that is my cue for you guys. That's my suggestions for everybody. Just buy it, borrow, and die. When you die, I mean, that sounds very morbid, but when you do, you can pass it on your money to your family, but it's not in your name. If it was in your name and you have to pay it out, there's estate taxes and there's a whole bunch of complicated strategies. But if all the money is sitting within a company, you can just hand that company off. So it's the best way for you to get some legal separation, some protection, and being able to pass it on, because companies can live forever. Unfortunately, we can't. But yesterday we were on a roll. I had some really cool guys that jumped on here. Ty, maybe you were one of them that came on here. It had a lot of good questions yesterday about how to build wealth over a generation. And not only how do you going to get it, not pay taxes when you do, but how to give it away to the next generation. Because my mindset is I want it to last for a long time. I don't want it just for me. But where you can have fun is once you make enough money, you can work if you decide to work, even if you don't feel like it anymore. So what we're going to be trying to do is continue to teach you. I'm going to be trying to come on more and more lives to help you with this buy, borrow, die strategy. And if you do it, you could retire within 2 years if you do it properly, depending on obviously where you're starting at and how fast you want to implement all the steps. So of course, we're going to be writing books about it and trying to open a course about it, but it takes time to do all that. But in the meantime, that is the high level. You know what I mean? Very high level if you get down that road. I mean, real estate is crashing almost all over North America. We did have somebody who was on here in Ireland, is crashing in Ireland too. So the strategies that Tom Wheelwright puts forward, that massive genius accountant, is the same stuff that made Rich Dad Poor Dad a billionaire, right? By doing those same strategies. It doesn't really matter who you follow. They have those same strategies. The majority of the content that you'll ever consume, though, is always going to be from the United States. It's going to be the Grant Cardone and Clayton Morris and Chris Crone kind of crowd. But they all have different things in the United States that we don't have in Canada. So they have 1031 exchanges, different amortizations, like a 30-year interest rate lock, which is incredible. So they have bonus depreciation. We don't have that in Canada. So there's different strategies that you have to implement in this country rather than if you're down there. Idiopathic over on TikTok, you said, how can one retire in 5 years with real estate? Exactly. Good question. That's what the main goal is, how to do that, right? And the main goal is you take every dollar of earned income, you put it into cash flowing real estate. Remember, cash flowing real estate, you should make $200 for every $100,000 that you put in. You should make $200 a month after all expenses. As long as you are doing that, you're going to make good cash flow. Make sure that you do the proper way of figuring out your cash flow, because there's 143 different ways to calculate your cap rate or your cash flow. So make sure you do it my way, where you include everything. So you have to have proper maintenance, proper property management, property vacancy in there, and your bank accounts and your advertising and your refresh between the tenants. Like, you need to have all your costs in there. And then still make $200 every single month. If you can do that and you just keep buying properties like that, you can live off of the rent that it's throwing off and keep earning 100% of your dollars, putting it into more property. You should be able to do it in way under 5 years. Way under. My wife and I employed a strategy about that. So you always want to live in the place that is fun, and you want to invest in the place that makes sense for investors. So that's what we do. Idiopathic 82, you've been on here before. I'm pretty sure I remember your name. So, of course, yes, I like the Calgary market. So it's just above Montana. Calgary is an amazing market. I think it's fantastic. It's not to buy right now. Right now, the prices are still crazy. You're still at 0.5% per month, and you need to be at about 1% per month for Calgary to make sense. Right now, you can still possibly find some good deals in Lethbridge, but not Calgary right now. I mean, God bless you if you can find it in Calgary. Good for you if you can. But we've been looking for a while and it's not there. But I can tell you the prices are coming down and down and down and down in Calgary. So it probably will hit there. I think it's a good idea. I think it's great if you can. So keep your eyes open on there. And if you see some properties and you want to flag me, let me know. I'd love to see them. So we're going to try to do this more often. I'm going to try to come on every day. Maybe I should set a certain time that comes on. Would you guys appreciate that on YouTube or TikTok? Would you guys appreciate if I came on every single day? I don't think we're going to do what I did last night. Last night I was on for 2 hours, almost wiped me out. But if we come on every single day and have it planned, maybe you guys could jump on and ask some good questions around those times. What we want you to do is just to try to be building yourself and level up all the time. I often think about what my dad did, like just about learning to ride a bike. It was really hard for me to learn to ride a bike. It was kind of scary, but then you get to do it. Everything that you've never done before is always scary before you do it, but then you love it. Hey, Nate, you said scheduling would be nice. Yeah. I think it would really help. I think where almost all of our viewership is from North America, but our podcast, their number one country is India. And the number one in demand place that people want assistance is Europe for some reason. So we get a lot, but I always get comments. If I try to come on in the evenings, around 7:00, but then our European guys, they complain quite a bit. Maybe I should do more than that. Nate, where do you live? Just so that I know, do you live in Canada or do you live in the United States? When we do our evenings, usually it's North America that talks about that. Anyone on YouTube, if you guys want to ask questions, you can as well. So, I'm a broker in Toronto. We have a real estate team here. We're real experts in this field. Oh, you're in Toronto, Nate. Nice. Me too. I'm downtown. Which part of Toronto are you in? Which area? East, west? Are you up north? I mean, Toronto's a big area, right? Toronto is 100 square kilometers or something like that. West, right? I used to live in Mississauga for years, so I know the West even more than I know the East side. But yeah, I used to live in Mississauga and Oakville. Then I headed downtown, met my wife. The best move I ever did. I used to live in a house. Now I live in a condo. Do you live in a condo or a house? Condos are the absolute best. I am never going back to a house. So we live in this awesome place. We have electricity paid for, cable paid for, internet is paid for. They come wash my windows, cut the lawn. We have private parks. I mean, we don't have anything to deal with. They take care of everything. So I mean, condo life forever. We love it. I still go back to my family's homes, and it's a nightmare, where you have to maintain everything. Everything's always broken. Man, condo life is great. But remember, only buy a place if the condo prices line up. Remember, you should never pay more than 83 cents per square foot if it has concierge and a pool. Those are the two things that you want. And if you're going to use it, I mean, there are buildings that we have friends that are in, and they use every single amenity in there. So then it's worth it, right? But if you never go out anywhere, then don't bother. All right, Nate. Yeah, good that you live out west. Well, you guys, I just wanted to see how this works. So we went on YouTube and TikTok at the same time. We got both cameras working, so that's really cool. I'm going to try to think about how we can line this up so that we can get multiple areas in at the same time, getting Europe in and North America. I think that would be handy for a lot of people. All right, before I head out, do you have any questions about corporate structures, what we do for taxes anyway? I'm not an accountant, right? Or any real estate stuff. So in summary, if you're selling, you should be thinking about it right now. If you're buying, you should be waiting if it's in cash. If it's a mortgage, the mortgage payments are going up. Prices are coming down, but the mortgage payments are going up because the interest is so high. So that's a different question. That's where kind of 50-50 if you're buying on a mortgage, because remember, you're buying a payment and you're not buying a house. If you're buying in cash, you wait. If you're selling, you should be doing it now. In a nutshell. Yeah. All right. Well, you guys, sometimes the questions don't always appear. They just come like in a big batch. So it was nice to see you guys come on. Nate, I hope that you're doing well. I think Calgary, idiopathic. I think Calgary is going to continue to do well. I hope you guys all do well very much. Please, if you are on TikTok, please go over to our YouTube channel and try and follow us on there. We just want to get to 1,000 views, 1,000 subscribers over there. If you can consider subscribing over there, I'd really appreciate it. Nate, if you're looking to buy with a refi, so that means that you have a place to sell, right? It gets a little bit more complicated if you're thinking about selling as well, because if you're going to sell and buy, selling, good time to do it right now. Buying right now, not a good time to do it. So if you had locked in, like I was saying in December, locking in your rate and you're able to port over your mortgage, that's a good deal. If you cannot port your mortgage, it's not a good deal. That means just to move it over, put a new address on it. If you get the new interest rate, it's no good. Oh, you have a rental property? Okay. Yeah. I mean, the refi business right now, you're going to be paying super, super high interest. So all of the mortgage brokers that we have, they're not really doing any refi. In fact, they're laying everybody off. So that makes it a lot more tough. Yeah, that's a lot more tough. If you want, Nate, you could always reach out to me, get an appointment with me, and we can have a conversation about what you should do. If you have a rental property, I would not be doing anything with it right now, depending on where it is, right? If you were thinking about should I keep it or not, if you were in Toronto with your rental property in Toronto, the price is probably going to go down a lot. But if you're in Toronto with a property, you're renting it out and the price is in Brantford. Okay. Well, we can go look at the numbers there. Brantford's taking a massive hit too. So Brantford, the prices are going down and the payments are going up. And that divergence is going to be really affecting your bottom line when it comes to how much you're going to make. This is all about cash flow. So if you're going to make a lot less money on the property, it may be time for you to switch out of that type of market and get into a market that's making money. Make any sense? That's what I would do. All right, guys, thank you so much for coming by. Thank you very much on YouTube for coming by, and for TikTok coming by. Thank you very much for your questions. Hope you have a good night.